You started? Hey everyone, so I'm out here very early in the morning sniffing all the roses. They have started to bloom, and you know, rose lovers, you know how it is. There's just no words to explain it. Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a rose tour, show you who's doing what right now. Some of them have decided to just go crazy already. Still full of buds right here to go, but with the sizes of the blooms, they give enough color. So we'll show you the ones that are blooming, maybe some of the ones that are still, you know, budded up and waiting for, you know, to explode with their beautiful color. And we'll do more videos along the way as they're opening, but we said, let's go ahead and do it. Sometimes we miss, Ambrose is behind the camera.
Yep.
So, hi.
Hey.
But sometimes we miss doing the early spring one, the first blooming. So we're gonna go ahead and do it today. We usually don't do it because we're always doing stuff in the garden. Is not in order, and who cares? This time around is very different with everything we got going on, so we're just gonna do this. So I wanted to go ahead and show you how a question that we get asked a lot: what do we do to get our roses going? So before we go ahead and take our little rose walk, we're going to go ahead and show you what we do to our roses in the beginning of the year, so they, you know, to maintain them. Now, these are what we do for the ones in the containers. Of course, this is a Gertrude Jekyll right here, climbing rose, and I call it a she, and she's inside a container. So, yes, by now, this container, she should be getting out of this container. She's going on, would you say 3 years in here?
4 years.
4 years. Wow. Okay, so this is 4 years, and you have to have a large vessel if you're going to keep them that long. This is an okay size vessel when we started her off, but if you plan to have them in there for a while, you need to start off with a good size, so that way they have no problems with their root system. So what I've done already, a few days ago, it started to warm up, and it stayed warm. So we decided that we were going to go ahead and put rose tone in them. We should have bought another bag. We almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used it already. So all the roses have been fertilized with, this is what we use to fertilize them, rose tone. So we use it in the beginning of spring, but we wait a little bit till it starts to warm up, so the fertilizer can actually activate and do its thing, you know, with the temperatures warming up a little bit, the soil, and then the rain works a lot too. And then what we like to do, I already did that too, but it breaks out here a lot because of all of the water. We get a lot of rain. So I'm breaking out the soil a little bit. We had already put compost in there, but I'm going to show you how we do it. And I'm not going to put that back in there, guys. I'm going to use it with my hands because I used it. And when you're dealing with roses, you don't want to be using tools back and forth into other things, because that's how you can get diseases or just sicknesses. With your tools or anything you got going on your soil, you don't want to do that. So I should have brought something else for this, but I didn't. So I'll show you right now what kind of compost I'm using too. So I'm just going to go ahead. Remember, I already fertilized. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more. It rains here. And when you got containers, it just all pours, it starts to come out sometimes. And that's all I'm going to do for now, because we had already done this. I'm just doing it so you guys can see what we do. So this is what we use to fertilize. We love to use the Espoma organic fertilizers and the soils and the compost. So this is Land & Sea. What is it called? Gourmet compost. So that's what we feed them with and what we top them off with.
Now the compost is because normally when you use compost, you use it is to give nutrients to native soil whenever you plant in the ground and stuff like that. But because we've had these roses, like Angie said, in the containers for a while, they need to be changed out. But since we can't change them out, and it's not beneficial to do it because they're not going in the ground yet because we're moving.
Yes.
What we do instead is we refresh that potting soil with compost. That way that compost breaks down and goes into that soil along with the fertilizers that we put in there, and then the mulch that Angie's putting on top there, that will break down over time too and go into that soil.
So you want to mulch them because, you know, as it starts, the weather starts to heat up, you want the soil to stay moist. You don't want it to be drying all the time. And in containers, anything in containers will, any plants in containers, the soil will dry up really fast. Even when it's not hot, on days that it's very windy, you have to keep an eye on, out on containers, on plants that are in containers, because of that reason as well. They'll end up drying out. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to let them dry out. Schedule on watering. Right now it's raining a lot, guys, so there's really no schedule. The only time I come out here is when I notice that the soil is dry. Maybe the first 3 inches, if it's dry, then I come and give them some water, or they'll let you know. Roses right away let you know by, you know, looking sad. Their buds, if they have buds, they'll start to kind of droop, or their leaves. But I don't wait for that. I always come and check the soil. And that's really it. That's how easy it is to go ahead and maintain them. So if you have any questions, like always, go ahead and you know, leave them down below. But let's go ahead and have some fun and go around and see who's in bloom. Later on, I'll go ahead and walk by and give everybody some of the mulch, because we didn't mulch them when we did all the other stuff. Okay, so this one right here. I already mentioned we have 3 of these. This is Gertrude Jekyll. And like Ambrose said, this is going on its 4th year. We're super excited to go ahead and finally give it a home. Hopefully, I guess we're talking as if we're taking them.
I mean, do we really want to leave them?
I don't know. All you guys have been, like, there's a lot of you garden friends that have showed us, and I've seen photos from in Texas growing this beauty, and I don't know that I want to leave it now because it looks like it's doing okay. Let's go to the other one, and I'll tell you why I'm thinking I wasn't too sure if I wanted to take this beauty with us. So excuse the craziness. This right now, right here, is what's going on in our garden with, you know, with everything we're doing. And we'll do another video just touring around and telling y'all why I have all this going on here. It's just a couple of plants that I'm moving around, and some making sure that they get more sun. So this is the other Gertrude Jekyll climbing rose that we have here. And I have not touched a thing. I have not deadheaded. I have not pulled out any leaves that start to get black spot. None of that, because I want everyone that sees us, that's watching, how the realness of it all, of when you grow rose, and especially in a climate like ours. So we are in a zone 7B, and it rains a lot here, and it gets very humid. In the beginning of spring is usually very cool, and sometimes, I don't know, we get very crazy weather. Sometimes last year I'm gonna call it a cool summer. We had a cool summer, and I got to see this one do a flower a little bit more than what it usually does. So the reason why I was telling y'all that I did not know if to take Gertrude Jekyll with us to Texas is because I noticed that Gertrude Jekyll, it loves the cool weather a lot. It blooms when it's cool. I see it blooming. It does three flushes for us, which is right now in spring. Then it does it in the beginning of summer, and then it does another one in fall. In fall, it hasn't been that strong here. It has given us blooms though, which is very pretty to see. That's when the temperatures start to drop at night that I notice that it starts to put out more. Another reason why I wasn't too sure of taking it is because you never know what you're going to get with Gertrude Jekyll in our experience. Sometimes the rose is full with leaves. Sometimes we have, it gets attacked really fast by a lot of critters. We get a lot of sawfly here. We've dealt with thrips a lot. And that was something that we did not see when we were living in other places. Before here, we're in North Carolina. I don't know if it's the area or what. We've done research. There's really not an accurate thing of why it happens. But we in North Carolina, we lived in a very sunny area. Our home was very sunny and hot outside, and we didn't really see any problems with roses. We had maybe the occasional black spot when it rained a lot, when we did have showers, but it really wasn't anything bad. So that's what we got going on with the black spot, those little leaves right there. I will be yanking those off in a little bit.
Yeah, it's not too much, but it's,
And what we protected the leaves with in the beginning was the Ivy Organics. And we'll show you in a little bit, because I know we did see, I don't know if Ambrose can zoom in, the sawfly, the little caterpillars.
The damage that it does, yeah.
So we started seeing those guys, and they're little green slugs that form, that are underneath. They're sawfly larvae. And these are called they're known as rose slugs or green caterpillars, something like that they're called. And they're really the larvae of
little black wasp, basically.
A little black wasp, which they call sawfly. And really not much we can do. We try to refresh the soil as much as possible. We went ahead, and when we start seeing those little green caterpillars, because they don't hurt the rose, but they damage the appearance of the rose greatly, and that's really sad when you start to see it so fresh, and then they come, and then these little green slugs make their way in spring and just ruined the look of it. What we do, I like to come around and I'll knock them off if it's not a big issue, or we use. I'm gonna let Ambrose. That's the other one that we use. We sprayed it with
Bonide dead bug brew.
Yes, we'll go ahead and show those or link them down below so y'all can. That's what we go ahead and spray them with when we start seeing those slugs coming out immediately. That's what we do. So that's why I'm leaving them like that, so y'all can see what's really happening in this garden right now. Let's come and see somebody else. I'm gonna let Ambrose talk about this one because he's been waiting for it to bloom.
Oh yes, Eustacia vi. I mean, Eustacia vi. I keep calling it Eustacia vi because I want Eustacia vi so bad.
Yeah.
This is Emily Bronte. Emily Bronte was one that we got because Eustacia vi wasn't available. It was sold out. But I'm loving it. I'm loving this one. I was telling Angie when I was smelling it earlier, it's said to have a strong tea fragrance with some, what was it, apricot?
Apricot.
No, grapefruit. I'm sorry, grapefruit. But what I get out of this rose is a very old rose fragrance, very perfumey, and I absolutely love it. I think it smells great.
I love it. So at first I don't know. Ambrose gets mad at me because I was telling him in the beginning I really didn't care too much for the rose. We were supposed to get another one instead, but they had sold out.
It was supposed to be Eustacia vi.
Eustacia vi. And because they didn't have her, Ambrose went ahead. It was when they first had announced them, right?
Yes.
You went with, which is Emily Bronte. But this year, so last year we didn't really get to see her because we get hit by the other sawfly. Thrips. And those really make a damage. They go way in there into the petals and everything inside the bud, and you lose your you lose your flowers. But this year, she's doing something. The year before, I had her in the back. In the little secret garden, the backyard, way too shady. She does need more light, so that's why I moved her to the west of the home. But her scent, the scent of this rose is amazing. I told Ambrose, I think this is one I would love to have more than one. And then you told me the same thing on another day.
I mean, because it does have, like I said, that old rose scent that's very perfumey, but it's not overwhelming. It's a great scent.
Yeah. So if anybody that wants something. You want to smell rose, but you don't want that too much in your face. Yeah. Like Gertrude's in your face. Yeah. That's like you can smell it a mile away.
Yeah, Gertrude.
One rose you can just smell. This one's pleasant, but it's so pretty. It's really nice. It has another one back here, and it's full of bud this year. I really wish we had, everything in the ground so we can showcase. But for you guys that don't know, we this is a temporary home. We're moving soon, so hopefully cross your fingers that we finally find her forever home on the next move.
Yep.
But she's gorgeous, and her color. This right here has the perfect. So she blooms this like creamy, very light pink on the outside.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, you start to see apricot. And it just starts coming out and glowing. It starts to glow as it's opening.
Yeah.
But all this stays like that, like a very peachy pink, I want to call it. And then look at the buds, guys. I love the flower buds all the time of roses too, because I think they're very appealing. As you know, you got all the stages of them going on here. And the leaf is gorgeous. It has really nice big leaves. They're beautiful. I love when Ambrose takes photos of that one. Okay, who else is doing something? The mill on the floss here going insane.
I was hoping that was going to bloom today.
Me too. I was hoping for that.
But yeah, mill on the floss. Look at this, guys. I mean, the first year we had it in shade. So unfortunately, we didn't really see too many buds, huh?
Nope.
But this year, as you can see, all that right there happening.
We have aphids up there.
Yeah,
new growth.
So this is what I was talking about when we spray stuff. Any new growth, man, that's pretty high. I'm stretching all the way up there. But any new growth, it's hard to prevent aphids or anything from getting on your plants, especially when it has a lot of tender new growth. And roses put out a lot of growth. So as you can see, the rest of the plant's really not affected by it. After it's been sprayed, you can see all the other buds that have been there for a while don't have any insects, but any new growth is definitely going to attract insects. And you know, that's why I say spray every 2 to 3 weeks or maybe every other week, because you know it prevents it from happening to that new growth.
Yeah.
And who's this?
Oh my goodness, this one. Yesterday we came out here to try to capture it.
I'm gonna stand back here so I can get a good view.
And it smells so good. This is Teasing Georgia. I'm just taking it in, guys. I just can't help myself with the roses. You can smell them, and I once you start for people that are just starting to grow roses, you start to realize slowly, like, who is who just by the scents, the smell. It carries. I know it sounds crazy, but you smell. You're walking around and the wind comes and you can smell it, and you're like, so-and-so is blooming today. Like, is that it? And you come in, yeah, it is. And this one is one of those.
Look at this.
Teasing Georgia is beautiful. Yesterday, I call this, what did I do? I did a post called it Golden Hour on Golden Hour, because when the sun starts to come down and we get it's coming down and we get before that, we get the golden hour. This area just glows, and this rose looks amazing as the sun is coming down. Golden hour shows up, is glowing.
Yep.
Glowing. And I actually put that intentionally there, that heuchera.
Peachberry ice.
Yeah, because when it's glowing, it does such a beautiful, beautiful look right here. And I had blue flowers under there, but this year we won't be doing that as we are moving. But look at that up there. That's a perfect bloom up in the center.
Yep.
You want me to move?
Yeah, I'm trying to get in there so I can show you guys. This one's hiding back there, but that's almost a perfect bloom right there. Look at that cup. All those petals. Just looks absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And I think this one down here might actually open up to a nice one too.
Oh, that is so pretty. That stage right here.
Yep.
Look at that too. So let's talk a little bit about this one. Teasing Georgia. Everybody always asks for us to show the container it's in.
I'm gonna zoom on that because that's a question we always get.
Let's do that right now. That is a very tiny container, and I would not have it like that. I'm actually embarrassed to have it like that. But we're not disturbing it because we are moving, and we're just gonna leave it like that for now. So we've had this one for the longest time. It was one of our first roses, DA roses, that we ever actually got. And we can't let go of it because it's such a great rose. It does great in full sun. When we had it in full sun, this was nothing. The show it would put on with flowers. This area is west, so it doesn't get too much sun during the day, especially because we have across from here there's a home. It's a 2-story home, so we probably just get light up here, and it all stays kind of shaded.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to turn around real quick without making, but you can see all the sun comes from over there. Man, that's super bright.
Yeah, you can see right there.
I didn't mean to do that. But all that sun.
Don't get them dizzy.
Sorry. But as you can see, all the sun comes from over there, but with that house right there, it just blocks out half the light that we get over here.
But you know, it's done okay. I had done plenty of research that it can take light, that you know, some part sun, so it's doing good. It grows like crazy. We prune it really hard because we don't have a lot of room, and like I said, it's temporary garden here. We don't have a lot of room, but if we didn't go as hard as we did every single season, it would be massive.
Yep.
Somewhere out there, actually, if any, I think it's on the new DA magazine catalog, and it's in the internet somewhere. There's a garden with one in a terracotta pot, the same rose, and it's as big as a tree, guys, and it's growing in this. I see it as a small terracotta pot.
Yeah.
A little bigger than that probably, but it's this massive rose. So this rose you can't stop. It's a fast one. It grows fast. Let's keep going. We have some that are still doing their thing.
Yeah, so we're skipping those. We'll do another video later with the ones that aren't blooming yet, but
So
we want to show you what's actually blooming right now.
So my boys are starting to bloom. Look at that.
One of the all-time favorites for Angie here.
This is my number one. These are my babies, my Harlow Carr. I love my boys, and my boys were getting already attacked
Yeah.
by that. And yeah, this is one of the most thorniest roses that there is. So we have to start over right now because thank goodness for some reason Ambrose checked the camera and some of it did not record. So that happens sometimes.
So we only go 30 minutes at a time, and it went over 30 minutes.
So let's go ahead. And I think I left off on why Harlow Carr is my favorite. Well, it's my favorite rose, and I don't know if it's Amber's favorite, but it's my favorite. Is it your favorite?
No.
No.
No. I don't have a favorite rose.
That's why it scratches you.
I can't pick a favorite rose.
But that's why it scratches. I'm playing, but okay, it's my favorite because this was our very first David Austin rose ever. I picked it out because I was looking for that perfect pink. We all have our different opinions on what we love, you know. For me, this is my perfect pink. That's why I picked this rose. I picked it out because at the time we were living in a very hot climate, very humid climate, but very sunny area, super sunny and hot. I needed something that was going. Roses love the heat. At that time, I didn't even know that anything existed that could take shade. And I think we'll go back and talk about one that we already talked about that really can take the shade. That time, I had no idea that there was roses that could do that. But now, you know, with more time, I've realized how great this rose is. And I always tell people, be careful what you guys pick. Make sure that you pick, especially if you're just starting with roses, pick a rose that's going to do great in your climate. I always say you can grow anything you want in any climate, but you're going to have to really see what other extra steps you have to take to keep that plant going. You know, there's plants that are not hardy enough, so you can still grow them in your garden and, you know, through the hot climates, but then you have to work other things to overwinter them, right? So with roses, try to see which ones, if you don't want to have a huge fuzz, try to pick the ones that do great for your climate, your area. So this guy is one that I'm really thinking I should take to Texas because it can really take the heat. It also in full sun. This is part sun here. So that's why you see this guy so full right here, is getting the most sun from this area here. And then you start seeing that it starts to get smaller and it starts to get more smaller.
Yeah.
And the shape that it's supposed to have when you have it in full sun is this beautiful round shrub, like perfect, like boxwood almost kind of look. We actually had it like that. We got to see it grow like that on its second, third year. It actually made this perfect little round ball. It was just gorgeous. Here you see the scraggly. It's because of that bed. That does not mean it's not going to give you flowers. It flowers all the way from the bottom to the top. As you can see, it's loaded with it. So if you really want a lot of flower and you don't want a rose that's going to disappoint you, this is a rose to go. We can come back and talk more about him once he starts to open. I have a lot to say about Harlow Carr. I love it.
Yeah, we can do a separate video on it once it starts blooming.
Yeah, let's go ahead and head to the front because we're starting to get that really that sun coming to the front as a southern area of the house, and I don't want to miss out to show you what's going on up there. Hi, pretty. Someone decided to join us today. This is Ashes, and she's been with us, oh boy, she's a California girl. We got her in California. How long ago?
Oh, man. Oh, 2011?
Yes, and she's full indoor kitty. So yeah, but she loves to come up out here with us to the front, especially right here. She's our old gal, our green eye girl. She's stealing the show for today. So we had ourselves a kitty moment, and I can't believe we've had her that long. You were saying 12 years, 11 maybe?
11, so after I got back from deployment, we got it for her birthday.
For one of our oldest daughter's birthday.
So that was 2011, so yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's been with us for a very long time. We love that kitty. So let's get back to our roses. It's sunny already, and I tell you guys, it's so true about having different, I forget the mini climates and the microclimates. And I'm going to tell you why I said mini right now. I have somebody in my mind right now. But yeah, you do have different climates in your own garden. That's why things, perform so differently. Like here, this is the south area of our home. Everything else in the back, which I see it as a blessing either way. It's very cool back there, and it feels actually cold sometimes. Here right now, you can start feeling it, and I'm layered up right now. Okay, so let's go to the front, up there. I know you took some video and photo.
Yep.
When it wasn't that shady. So I think he did that yesterday. He's been coming around and videoing things. So I'm gonna start with why I said mini. Super excited, very excited this year to be growing. You guys know how we love our Proving Winners plants, and our Proving Winners has roses, but not just roses, they have climbers, and they have mini climbers. This right here is a mini climber from Proving Winners, and that is Rise Up Lilac Rose. And it has the most beautiful color of, the lilac color is just so soft, that pink with purple. Gorgeous, and it just, as it starts to open up, oh my goodness, I wish it was in one of those forms right now. I'll try to see if I can squeeze in one of those photos that I took for the video, but it is so pretty. And we have to do a better training of it. This is what it's going maybe on its second. Proving Winners Color Choice, that's who sent them to us. Last year, they were potted up. We got a few of them that we'll be showing you later. But this one has grown so much, and I did not have it in full sun last year on her first year. We just brought this one to full sun, like I'm gonna say last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And it's doing amazing, and it's starting to put a lot of the bottom branches. So that's why I was saying, the training could have been done better, but I'm waiting for all that on the bottom. And as those branches start coming out, I'll start training them, and we'll show you that as the rose grows. I did put it on an obelisk. Now this mini climber can actually be just trained to be just a regular shrub form rose, which is great too. And I love that it's mini, because we don't live in a place where there's a lot of room, so that's actually perfect. And I love to layer the front of the door, so that's actually nice to have another one smaller. I have one in an obelisk on the other side. It's bigger, but I love that this one can be in this small obelisk. So yeah, this is from Proving Winners Color Choice Shrub. Amazing roses that they have been breeding. And then you have this one down here. It's called Ringo. I'm gonna say Ringo Rose. Let me see the tag right here because I forget the names.
I think it's double pink.
Double pink, Ringo double pink. And I don't think this one's fragrant. I know the girls and Ambrose says it has a slight fragrance. I'm gonna probably just say like a rose, a regular little, what would you say? Just freshness of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it's fragrant. They always say it is, but I love it because it is very showy. It's already been, this whole week it's gone crazy. These right here that you have. So it's really on its last, the first flush of it. These are really going to end soon, but look at that. Oh my goodness, the inside of it. And I broke it right now, but I'll show you if we can when they were first in bloom.
Yeah.
They have the most vibrant, fresh pink, like bright, bright pink. It screams out spring, like maybe like this, like the tulip. Some of my last tulips, guys. I'm still hanging on to some. It's probably that color that it has in the beginning, and it's very, very pretty. But that one's a shrub form, and I just love it for the container right there. And we'll show you another one that we have. They do carry more of they do have more of the mini climbers, but we'll do videos of all that separately so we can really get into the whole thing of those kind of roses. But I do have to tell you guys that that's one of the roses that I prefer to have up in the front at all times because they always look the best. There's no fuss about it. So if you guys are scared or not scared, but intimidated or just kind of worried about growing roses first, or you don't have luck with roses, try some of those. They're starting to put out very beautiful form shapes of the flowers. They look very similar, like the English roses. So now we have here Strawberry Hill. So this one is a David Austin rose. Now I want to talk about something because I haven't been very, very happy what happened. Down there, not this winter, but the past winter, we had a lot of snow.
Yeah.
A lot of snow. And I'm talking about like it snowed for quite a bit. The snow, we would come out here and take things off of the snow off of things, but it was still there because it just kept coming down on us. All that got full of it. And the bottom of the branches ended up freezing, and Ambrose had to prune away all that.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a pile of snow in there during winter. The last winter, not this past winter, but the last winter, and I had to cut a lot of it from there. So maybe when we move, we may have to cut, refresh it, let it regrow
I would,
some.
yeah, exactly. I would just bring it out of there. Well, we're probably going to have to on the move.
Yeah.
Bring it out of there, and I know that sounds horrifying, cutting it all fresh again so it can start. Well, it's actually putting out more branches, though. We'll see what we do, but that could be something we can do just to refresh. The reason I'm not scared to go ahead and trim it, give it a hard pruning all the way low, is because that's another rose. Strawberry Hill is another rose that'll grow like that.
Yeah.
It grows fast.
I'll throw some footage in there of the flowers, guys. It's a bit sunny out here, but I caught some footage of it yesterday, so that way you can see what those blooms actually look like. Beautiful blooms.
Little secret, we didn't do anything to this rose this year.
No, not at all.
It still has I feel bad, but being real with you, this is still from last year. We didn't even prune that off. We didn't even take it off, the flowers from last year. It's been very busy, but I just want to show you, this is what's going on. It's a real garden. This is sometimes you have things going on in life. Sometimes you forget somebody.
Yep.
And, but still flowering, still doing something. And I can see more branches on the bottom.
Yep.
It actually has a butt down there. It might actually give us something. And this one, it's reminiscent to me of a smell in my home that my mom used to refresh the home with. This one is said to have heather honey, with myrrh.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So I like to sit here in the morning especially, and it's just so soothing and relaxing. I can smell it right now. But I think
we have some in the back.
Oh my goodness. We have something to show you out back. So let's go ahead and head back there and show you somebody that I love to see every spring.
All right, so walking into the secret garden, and where do we start? There you are, because we have all kinds of stuff going on in here. As you can see, there's soil on the ground, there's containers, there's plants. I can't show that stuff, but
we got more videos to do, and hoping to do more today. We got to bring out plants So you'll see that pretty soon.
Yeah, so
and then we got to plant stuff.
Yeah, there's lots of
crazy
stuff going
like
on
that.
here, guys. We're cleaning up for move and stuff like that. And I think we can end by the door, but let's start over here first.
You want to start with pearly gates?
Yes.
I'm not going to be able to. I should probably let you go in there. Got a mess in here, guys.
Okay, hopefully the sun's not too bright.
Probably do a one of this one when the sun is not all there so y'all can actually see the rose. That is pearly gates.
Yep.
And pearly gates is not in the best place that it should be, but it still gives us amazing flowers. And I'm saying because
amazing flowers.
This rose loves full sun.
Look at that beauty right there.
Yeah, and it does have a scent. This is one of the scents that I adore in the garden a lot in roses. It's more of a cinnamon scent, like a very warm cinnamon scent. And I love it so much. You wouldn't think that's what comes out of that rose, but that's what it has. And it's just beautiful, and it's a very, very strong, good rose. We've put it through so much. That's one rose that actually belongs to our daughter, to one of her daughters, Alexis. She can't let go of it. She told us that if we're taking anything, we're taking that one along.
Yep.
So we love that one. We'll, like I said, we'll come back and show you more the little walks. I'm gonna come up here.
Mm-hmm.
And show you one of the roses that I will always say everyone needs to have in their garden, especially if you're into the colors of orange. This right here is the Lady of Shalott. And excuse me if I don't pronounce the names the way they should be. I love this rose very much because of the colors. Like I said, Ambrose will be showing some of the other more pictures.
Very beautiful rose.
But this year, I don't know why, it's getting sun. It did not do much down here. Since we've had it, it always puts on a show, and it fills itself out all the way from down here up. It is getting sun, and it should have performed well with a bunch of roses here, rose buds, because at that, the tree, it usually buds up before the tree sets leaves, the maple tree. And even when the maple tree is in leaf, this is a reblooming rose.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing this rose all year long, giving me something, even when the canopy of this tree is very heavy and it's raining and it's very shady. So I don't know why it's doing this time. And I have it here because I can see it from the window, the windows from the home out. Mm-hmm. And it's just so pretty to see it. So it looks healthy. It's doing okay. I don't know. Let's see what it does. We still have a long time to see if it's going to put on more flowers. But I love it so much because not just because of it's a very fast grower. It can take anything. It can take less sun. It can take a lot of sun. Like I said, it grows really fast. It's very wild. Kind of the canes are very octopus-like wild. Yeah. You can cut it a bit. Maybe that's what happened. I think we might have cut it a little too early and too later.
We possibly did.
I think that's what we did. We've been all over the place. Maybe that's what we did. We just don't remember. That's probably why it's not giving us flowers yet, because it was probably pruned a little too late.
Yep.
But anyways, it's a fantastic rose. I love it so much. The scent is amazing, and the story of it is just beautiful. I love the story of this rose. It's a very sad story, the Lady of Shalott, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that I love. I would love, I think, like a garden out of just that, just the story of that rose. Claire Austin. Wow. We were going to get rid of her. And I actually even felt bad passing her on to anybody because she only was growing from one cane. Ambrose was very disappointed too. We were very disappointed on the way she was growing, weren't you? You were like,
yeah, and I know we're only showing you roses that are blooming, but we're showing you this one because this is from one cane. I was upset because it didn't grow a bunch of different canes. This is all one cane, so
it has a new one.
So
I'm here.
Yeah. So I'm upset, but I'm really not upset because I can see its potential with just one cane, and I can only imagine with
many different canes.
Bare root? No.
This is not a bare root. This is a 2-quart. This is from its own root. So
they didn't have her. We ordered her from David Austin.
Yeah.
And
So-
they had her just like that.
So this is one that's gonna definitely gonna last longer because it's its own root and it's gonna perform a lot better and be more disease resistant. So
Now, one thing that I hear, you know, in the community of rose lovers, rose growers, that, you know, is that you got to have a lot of patience with Claire. Another thing is that any rose that has the name Austin somewhere in there, it's supposed to be a very like good rose. The whole patience thing, it's very true. And I've said this before with Claire. I don't think if I could redo this, I would have never got this rose for a temporary garden. This rose is meant to be in a place where you put it in a beautiful place that you're going to enjoy those leaves, because those leaves are always beautiful.
Yeah.
That's something about it. It's a very disease resistant. If it's not in bloom, the leaves are gorgeous. And that's why I have it here, so I can have some greenery
Yep.
on this side. As y'all can see, I like to have green on both sides, and I wanted something going up. This girl right here does that. And if it's not in bloom, I get to see these gorgeous leaves all the time. But we're getting blooms this time around.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We'll come back and talk about her later. She's doing amazing. She's probably doesn't want us to get rid of her.
probably not.
Look at that. Oh my goodness, it's already that color. And here we go with the sawfly. I don't know if you can see. Those are the guys that come and eat away the leaves, guys.
Yep.
So it's everywhere. Okay, let's go see the other one and end it there. So this is Gertrude Jekyll, third one that we have. And this is the one that I was talking about on the other side when we're, you know, taking the tour on the other side, that can take shade. I had no idea in the past that, you know, roses took shade. There's some for that. And this area, sometimes at least would probably be 3 when we have very cloudy days. And sometimes we have very, very cloudy times, like a week or 2 of full rain and just cloudiness and just a peak of sun in this little area. But max is probably 4 hours of sun, would you say?
Yes.
And it does amazing. Because it doesn't get a lot of sun, it's slower than the other ones on the other side. The other side gets more sun.
Yeah.
Even though there's a tree, the sun comes, you know, from that side and hits them really good, so they fill out a lot more and put a lot more flowers.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say this one does not get a lot of flowers. If you guys have gone back to the other videos where we show the rose tours, this one, it fills out completely with flowers. But we usually do that one, on the second flush.
On the second flush, because it's when it starts to,
Yeah.
the summer sun starts to hit a little bit more back here and gives it more energy to those buds. This early spring has been kind of weird though with the sun. There wasn't a lot of sun back here, so it didn't form as many buds as normally, but it's doing good.
I love that. I'm seeing that there's a spider web.
Yeah,
on them,
they're all over the place.
And that's what I love. I love to start seeing, that's what I wanted to talk more about. Okay, another reason why this rose wasn't on my top, now that I've had it, even though it's one of the most popular roses out there, and most fragrant roses and just beautiful rose. The reason why I don't have it as a top rose to have in a garden where, like, maybe you don't have a lot of space and it's a place where you're gonna have it for be seen all the time, like us here, it's because it didn't seem to be very disease resistant as we started to grow it in the beginning. But we do got to keep in mind, when roses are young, you got to give them at least 3 years for them to start to mature and be able to what's the word? To be stronger, to be able to take a lot of the things. I think as they mature, they're a lot stronger, and you don't have to fuss a lot with them. We have them in containers too, a lot of them. So that too, that's not the strongest root system, I would say, as you would have a plant the way it's meant to be growing in the ground. That's something to keep in mind too.
Yep.
You know, we're over here forcing something to happen. So, you know, be happy with what we get, right? But But it is amazing that we can be growing it like this in a container for so many years. 4 years, you said, I think?
Yeah, this will be his 4th full year since...
These gertrude were planted 4 years ago. And if we if we've pruned it back.
Yep.
Ambrose has, because I'm not getting up there. But if we had not pruned it, we would have probably half of this home already full.
Yeah, because
it
was growing pretty tall, but there's because again, like this is not our home. I'm not going to get on a ladder and train it to go that high up just to bring it back down. But it was definitely stretching over that window over there.
It hurt so much when he pruned he cut the ones from there that would go across to the window. All that would have been full by now.
Yep.
He cut that back on the first year we were here, actually.
Yeah.
They started to stretch out. And, we can't do that. We can't have it like that because it's not our home. We live on a military base. So we have to make sure to maintain things and keep them somewhat, tidy. But it's an amazing rose, though. And I'm noticing that with the years, as it's maturing, it's taking a lot of things more. The only thing, too, is like the whole thing that I notice that it loves to bloom more when it's cool. And it only does the 3 flushes here. So for me, I'm wondering if when we move to Texas, the heat there.
Yep.
How many flushes is it really going to give me? When is it going to bloom for us? Is it going to bloom very early? Will we not see it bloom in fall? So if any of you are growing it in Texas in a hot zone, I know there's a rose friend on Instagram that told me from. Oh my goodness, I forget. I think he's in Florida.
Yeah.
I think he told me he's growing it in a zone 10. Friend, if you're there watching, let us know. I don't want to give out your name because I don't know if you mind. But I think he's growing them in a zone 10 in Florida. And he says that it's doing amazing for him. So I don't know. Let me know, guys, because this is amazing to see how they do in different climates. I think we'll go ahead and come back later, see what cross our fingers because we don't know. That's the way it is with plants. You don't know what they're going to do.
Yep.
And we'll come back and see what it does on its second flush. It's gotten fertilized. We're going to put, it's got compost and everything. We've treated them. So let's see what happens if we get something very beautiful to show you before we move out of here. Anything you want to say or?
Nope, that's it.
I hope you enjoyed this tour. There's a lot more roses to show you. Olivia did her blooming already. We do have Olivia Rose, Olivia Austin Rose, but she's not in bloom right now. She is forming them, so maybe on the next one we'll go ahead and show you. So we will see you later, and go ahead and let us know what's blooming in your garden. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.